and welcome to my Endless Space 2 guide, the all-encompassing guide to help beginners, to help people who want to buy the game, to help people who have bought the game, and the everything for everyone. Today's guide is guide number 11, and the topic is fleet movement and actions. So much like my quests, this one is going to be shorter. But this one actually there is little tidbits of information. The quest one was more kind of just general if you never opened it. But this one, it will mostly seem self-explanatory, but there are a couple little things that you'll need. So, first off, I just quickly opened up an Unfallen playthrough, so I wanted to show you some things. So, when you click on a fleet that is not disbanded, right, because you can, let's not misclick, you can't do that. So click on a fleet that's in orbit over something and you have all these options. This ship is my exploration ship. It's equipped with drones, so I get a little bit more than everyone else. I have the skip turn, which skips my turn. I have one that sleeps, which means it'll remain in orbit until a probe or an enemy enters the system. Is it the system or nearby? Yeah, system. I have the guard, which I'll explain that later. Auto explore, which just fans out and explores as many open star lanes as it can. And then there's also drones here, well, probes, and exploration of curiosities. So first of all, the drone works like this. You can see how much vision it covers. This doesn't accurately represent how maybe it does actually represent how far it will go. I'm not sure. Anyway, so the starting ship has 2 drones to work with, and they replenish over time. You can see there the cooldown is 2 turns, and shows the stock 1 of 2. These guys, you can see here how many turns they'll be active, and they will keep going and discover anything on the way. Star lanes, systems, enemy ships, etc. The other thing is exploring curiosities. When you first start the game, they're abundant. You click on the little magnifying glass next to the pentagon with the question mark, and if they are on planets, you will see them like this. So when you mouse over them, it shows that's different. That's a guardian. It will show what you can get from it. There's a high chance of anomalies from this one, and there's a low chance of luxury, strategic resources, and loot. So there's no chance of getting a strategic resource. I'm pretty sure that's how that looks. Just as a little tip for beginners, I always kind of like to keep it, if I have these little blips, you can see them here also, little blips, that represents a curiosity. If I have them on systems that I have colonized or can colonize, like if I had those 2 curiosities here, for instance, I would explore them using the ship. Because you can explore manually in the construction queue, but it costs construction. 100 industry, and because I just started, I can't produce that much, so that's 3 turns. If there's a luxury resource on there, or even a strategic one, I want to start getting the bonus as soon as possible. So just as a little tip, explore them if you can use them. So just an example, that's how that works. Little screen will pop up, it'll showing you what you got, or what you can get. Yeah, this is the loot. So now if I open trades and resources, it shows that I got 5 deciduous trees because I found them in the exploration. And it works the same way with strategic resources. So you might find one of the higher tier strategic resources. You might find a couple of loots like that, and then you have 10. That's 1 or 2 ships you can build with upgraded weaponry or armor. So there's an upside to explore. So here I am back now in my Sofon playthrough. I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things. Still on the same topic. So the other things that I couldn't show you yet are the attack, which starts with a fight, which I'll just quickly run through because I can. Bam. The other thing is guard. So, well, it says in the description, once I click it, marked here by these little ticks around the orbit and also of the radar-esque. Stops enemy ships for 1 turn when entering orbit. So when an enemy ship comes into my system, doesn't matter how many turns it had left to move, it will spend the rest of its turn in orbit, allowing whoever is blockading to attack. And when you also and when you also have that in orbit of another person's system, if you place the guard, then it will automatically start lowering influence, dust, all the resources, luxury, strategic resources, anything that they were getting from that system starts getting lowered. That's the other thing, and that's just the invade button, but I'll show you that in a later guide. Okay. And the last little bit I want to show you guys is, if you see now, I just did a fight. I used up 7 of my 10 turns doing that fight, but I can still move. So I'm halfway through there. So an important thing to note is, if you leave it like this, if the movement takes more than 1 turn, if I'm doing that for instance, right, it will be done at the end of the turn, unless I already moved. So I moved then. Let's end my turn. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, 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 go. Done. Get that out of there. So if I hit end turn again, I don't care, end turn. If I do that, you can see that it moves. So you might be thinking, okay, thanks for the info. Why is that important? Now let me tell you. So because it moves at the end of the turn, it might be in your best interest to manually move it rather than waiting for it to tick down and move on its own. Because let's say, this is a good example. Let's say that there's a pirate fleet in orbit here, NGC 7089, right? So I haven't moved yet. I still have my 10 turns. What I want to do, what I intended to, let's say 4 turns ago, from all the way back there, what I intended to was to move to that system and attack. If I hit the end turn, well, that happens because I didn't. I'll go into orbit, and then I'll start ending my turn. So I will essentially lose the ability to start a fight, or, oh, that's embarrassing. Where does that go down? Okay, everything's going down. I will lose the ability to fight on the same turn. I'll lose the turn. The pirates who would have been there the turn that I arrived, maybe they're gone now. So if you want to go to your destination and do something at the same time, then manually do it yourself, because if you leave it to the end of the turn, you will lose the turn. And then, you could be at a tactical disadvantage because that happens. That's just something that I want to share with you.